My name is Carissa Begonia. I go by she, her pronouns. I live in Las Vegas currently, and I am a former head of DEI in corporate America, turned into diversity, equity, inclusion consultant, and have now, from leaving corporate America to starting my own business, I am also now more specifically, ooh, you're gonna be in Vegas, Monica, cool. I get distracted by like chat.
That's okay.
Since leaving corporate, becoming, a consultant in B2B spaces, I also started finding myself coaching folks on how to start their own practices as a business in coaching, consulting, or as a contractor as such, like freelancer, creative freelancer or so. And so I'm a business coach today, mostly have pivoted now into being a B2C business coach specifically for people of color, and with an equity lens. So I still bring in a lot of my DEI ethos and positionality into how I look at business. And I really see it as my evolution of my social justice work, moving towards helping people liberate from, the golden handcuffs, liberate from corporate America, liberate from this idea that we can only make maybe six figures if we're good, and we put our heads down and we work really hard. No more of that, right? Go make six figures in your own business for yourself. Go make $500,000, $1 million, up, whatever, And I think that wealth generation is only going to happen really when we move ourselves from that system and start building our own models. And so really, really believe in helping people of color to like generate what those new models are of business. Cause I don't want to just kind of copy what the spaces that we've all left, right? That we all are striving to leave.
And that's why we love,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So generational wealth building, I think, is how we do that, like how we can actually start our businesses, sustain ourselves, and then also bring other people with us, hire other people to support us. And that's just the evolution of my racial equity work.
Awesome. I absolutely love that, Carissa. And I love that you're helping people to get to generational wealth, because we are talking about money mindset. And I'm sure that a lot of your clients who are people of color, it's a totally different, different viewpoint because of the way that we grew up. You might have been immigrants. I'm an immigrant. I'm the child of immigrants. You are as well, right? So it's a totally different lens that when we're talking about money mindset. And I would love to talk about our work together. We just started working together.
New client.
New client. But I just thought your story was so amazing in what you do. And also to talk a little bit about, how we came to start working together and what that has in the short time that we've connected. What changes have you seen happen? What was happening before, and then what happened after we started working together?
Yeah, before I started talking to Nicole, and Nicole, we're both part of the Hello 7 Universe Club. I've been seeing Nicole popping all over on that space. And I'm like, who is this person? And I might have carried a lot of my own money mindset blockages around, you have to work. You can only make a lot of money if you're working, 12-hour days, like, working your butt off. Like I saw my parents work. My parents both worked 2 jobs. I wanted for nothing in growing up, but I also didn't really see them so much. So many other, like, I'll say mindset stuff around that. But what I've modeled for me was you have to work really hard. And then the second kind of money mindset, block I had was believing that money was bad, that the more money you made, kind of the more not nice person you become, right? Out of touch, you become out of touch. So with that, I was carrying a lot of some of like that with me, and then really looking at my numbers. And so before I was a DEI consultant or DEI professional, I was in operations in the fashion retail world for over a decade. And my whole job, I literally had the word planner in my job. And I was basically responsible for allocating and figuring out sales projections and forecasting numbers for, multi-million-dollar brands, right? And portfolios. And yet when I came to my business, I ignored the numbers. I was like, yes, I'm gonna go, we're just gonna, so there was partly that was part of the shame I had too, when I was like, oh my God, I have not looked at my own numbers. Like I've done this for 10 years. I understand how important this is. But also when I first started my business, because I started my business, my coaching practice in 2020. I was laid off in or furloughed in the pandemic, and I just decided I wasn't going to go back, right? Because I figured things out. But yeah, and at that point, I was just running, right? I was just executing, filling, the work, fulfilling the work I was asked to do, consulting, speaking engagements, and all of that. And then I come back around and I was like, okay, if I'm going to scale this,
Yeah.
I need to figure out what the revenue drivers are in my business, because I had multiple models. I was doing consulting, I was doing some contract do it for you work in operations, like fractional, like COO stuff. I was speaking, I was doing business coaching, leadership coaching, I was doing all the
All
things.
the things.
I didn't know any better. Like I was just like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I like all this and I'm good at it. Right. And
Right.
people are paying me to do it. And then I was like, I hate this. I hate all of this. I'm tired, and
Yeah.
I really had to take a look at both of like, what is my finances, so that can I take breaks? Can I hire folks? Like, what can I do to scale? And just felt like I needed to like have a better grasp of that. But all that shame of not looking at it for a few years
Yeah.
and knowing better put me a little bit in a spiral of like nervousness to even do it.
Yeah.
That's where I was.
Okay.
And I mentally was like, we have to fix this. It took me a couple of years to get to the place where it's like, we need to figure this out,
Yeah.
and manage, just frankly, just manage like some debt I was accumulating just to get the business going and stuff. And I was like, I want the clean slate of my money if I'm gonna scale, right? And so
Absolutely. Yeah.
hence I was like, okay, well, Nicole keeps popping up. Maybe I should talk. Maybe I should talk to her,
Yeah. Maybe. Let's
At
see.
the very least, go talk to her.
Yeah.
Just at the minimum.
Yeah. And then we met, and the rest, as they say, is history, right? Let me know how do you feel now after our conversation, after we decided to work together, talking about your mindset and how you think about money and your finances. How do you feel going forward?
Yeah. So, because of some of the shame I was carrying, because of some of that debt, right, and kind of disorganization I had and I was like, I'm a business coach, y'all. How dare I be teaching people how to do this? And when I'm like,
Yeah.
my back end stuff is like a hot mess. I've also found out that a lot of businesses, owners, especially like newer ones who are just going, because I made six figures like out the gate. Like, so we're
Yeah.
just going, right? We're
Right.
flying. And so I had a couple years to backtrack and I was embarrassed. I was like, oh my gosh, and I was working with another woman as my accountant, and she's awesome. I still recommend her. But this is where I really started to center people of color and like who I work with and who I want to work with. Because there's just something a little bit different that you can like an understanding and a knowing and like some grace and just like, I don't know, connection. And when
Yeah.
I met Nicole, I was coming with that shame, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed to say this. And she was like, no shame, girl. Like I basically first generation business owner. Like we're not taught this, like we're not taught to avoid the mistakes or even what mistakes might even happen. Like we don't know any of these things. And it's actually pretty common that people don't don't do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then drag it out for years because we're of the shame and the guilt and all of that. And like literally I was on the call, I was crying because I was so scared to like talk to like my other accountant and my like help the other person helping me with my money. And that's why, I was like, I might need to just talk to women of color like about this. And so I picked Nicole, and immediately I was like, I felt safe and I felt seen, and like that shame. She's like, we're gonna clean it up. Like, that's it. And I'm like, you want me to do it for you? Like, I'm like, wait, so you're not just gonna make me feel better. You're actually gonna take some of the actions to do it for me. So I don't have to figure out where in my calendar I'm gonna figure out how to reconcile like, last year's expenses. I don't know how to, I don't have time to do this. I don't know. I hate doing it. Like, so you're just gonna take it off my plate. Like, yeah, and hold my hand through some of the parts, you know. I still owe her some stuff and she's like, do we need to work together? And so I can get you to do it. I'm
I'm
like,
very much,
yes,
I,
because
because I get it.
I can't find the time on the calendar, but I will make the time when you're holding my hand.
Yeah,
So, so supportive. And I think that's like mostly what I needed, was just someone who wasn't going to judge me for the mistakes, and like so I can clean it up and then move forward with like the clean slate. And so
yes,
that's where I feel like my taxes are going to be wrapped up this year. She also introduced me to an accountant who's also equally as kind, you know, and because my accountant now is also, was like, one of the first things she said to me is like, are you a first generation business owner? I'm like, yes. And she's like, I got you, I get it, right? Like we're gonna be okay. And so that assurance and just that confidence and the non-judgment was
yeah,
what helped me like feel very like, let's go, Nicole, like whatever. And you know,
yeah,
also I think some of the benefits that you're also adding, like I don't know, I haven't worked with a bookkeeper before. I was just doing it all myself. And so like something I need help with sometimes, it's just a sounding board in general, right? When you're the CEO of your business, right? And you have team members, right? But not necessarily anybody who is like a thought partner and a sounding board on some things you're trying to do. And so part of, I guess, the service that is included in your bookkeeping services, like a review of numbers. So while you won't advise me on this other things, like I can just
right,
talk to you a little bit about like what's going on, what I've planned for the future and such. So just
yeah,
have another expert to like look at it with me is wildly helpful as I try to make my decisions on hiring team members and things like that. So
for sure. And paying
um
yourself, remember that part too.
which one?
Paying yourself.
Paying myself. Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly. You know, I'd like to buy a house like soon. And like I haven't paid myself, right? The business is
yeah,
paid, but Carissa is not paid. So
exactly. And that's
and
what I really want to change that, Carissa, because I find that you're right. CEOs are like going, 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 and just building the business and hiring people and making sure everybody else is paid, but not taking care of themselves.
yeah,
Paying yourself is a huge part of self-care, right? And
100%.
it, yeah, and so that's what I really want to get, help entrepreneurs to do is pay yourself. Put money aside for taxes. It's tax time, and sometimes the bill can be huge, right? So doing all of those, right, it will help you. And you're thinking, but my business isn't bringing in a lot of money. How do I do that, right? And that's why I want to just beyond the bookkeeping is helping to look at the numbers so we can change them, right?
Yeah.
And the mindset around that as well. I'm providing this amazing service. People love to pay me, right? They love to pay me well. And when they pay me well, I can pay myself well. I can run a successful business, all of that. So all of that, and it's a lot of it has to do with the mindset, right?
100%.
So absolutely, that's what I do for my clients. And I love that you were able to come on, Carissa, and share your story with us. So amazing. And I'm looking forward. We're going to set that time up and then we're going to go through stuff that we need to go through.
Like we need to get that tax time is like right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Um,
Exactly. So we'll get it all sorted for you. But I'm so happy that you don't have that clear space, right, to
oh
do
yeah.
the things in your and not worry about the finances.
Yeah. And one
Absolutely
last
love
thing I maybe will share with everybody is that because you are also a like fixed six figure like business owner,
that. Yeah.
you know, that's where I'm heading towards too, like which I just started to realize this quarter. You know, I think energetically, we're just talking about energy and we're talking like
Yeah.
money is energy, right? And like I hit a six-figure quarter this year, you know, and like for the
Oh,
first time.
amazing.
And I'm
I
like,
love that.
that's why I was like, we gotta figure this out because we can't drag ourselves forward, like, you
Yeah.
know,
It's harder
with
to fix the wobbly foundation after you've gotten to like close to $1 million, right?
yeah.
It is
So
going to
I
be expensive.
that yes,
Yes.
and I appreciate that you are at a level that I'm moving towards, because then you understand, right? Like, you know, like what I'm going to be starting to get up against. You just said like it's different mindset when you're making like six figures or hitting the six figure like number, and then now hitting the multiple six figure thing. Like you need someone else who's done that, who's doing that, like to like help you watch your money. So, and I
Yeah.
believe as a planner now, like taking back my 10 plus years of experience, like look at the numbers, like, because that's going to help you define what actions to take
Yes.
towards that $1 million goal. And so, yeah, meeting you and having you in my court now, there's like no doubt I have in my mind that I'm going to hit like that 7-figure mark within a year or two.
Yes.
So like that's
Yes.
where we're going. We're going, get your support squad to help you do the thing, and like do the thing you don't like, and like, or else,
Yeah.
and guide you towards the things you don't understand or you don't know, or just even have a sounding board with. So
Yeah.
thank you for being
Of
so
course.
kind and gracious and nice. Like I was expecting you to be nice, but like not like I was not expecting to cry on that call, and just feeling seen and feeling like it's like you're gonna be okay, Carissa. We're gonna figure this out and we're
Yay.
gonna do it together. Like literally gonna hold your hand and help you highlight the things that you don't want to do.
Yeah. For sure. Absolutely. That's my jam. Right. And I love, love, love that you are, that's exactly what I want to provide. I don't want to be this person who is just, hammering people over the head. Right. I just want to help you. I want you to get to the end result, which is to build this wildly successful business. Right. And so this is where I come in. I'm not here to, shame or embarrass anyone or, point, wag a finger or anything. It's just to help more women make more money, because when women have money, we change the world.
You changed the world, truly. And we will, yeah. And I feel that with you. I think it's that heart you have.
Yeah.
We don't hire people because we hire the right people when we energetically feel connected. And
Yeah.
I think that is maybe the biggest differentiator for you. One, you're hella smart for sure, but you know, you have this brilliant business that you're also making a lot killing at. But like two, like I wouldn't want to work with you if I could. If when we're carrying so much fear and shame around money, that's a big one that a lot of us
Yeah.
have. Especially I think as women of color, children, like immigrants and children of immigrants, like we have to feel comfortable with who we're talking about with it.
Yes.
Like it has to be it's a sensitive thing, can be a sensitive thing. And so like you just made it like I can trust you and feel like okay, right? So thank you for that. I
You're so
think that is going to
welcome.
be your magic as you work with a lot of other people, because I'm sure I'm not the only one carrying that fear and that
Yeah.
and backed up and whatever and like embarrassment and all that. So that I think is your secret sauce, if more than anything. Like also, yes, 5-minute bookkeeper, like simplify your life, shoot.
Yeah.